I need everybody to go ahead and roll for hunger. We'll just get that out of the way real quick.
Okay.
Starting off strong.
Starting off strong. I'll give you exposition as soon as we know where you guys are.
I assume we're starting at 1 hunger and then going up from our rouse check.
Yes.
Okay.
And refresh my memory, because I've been spoiled by the dice spots that tell you when it's a success or not. Is it 6 or higher?
6 or higher.
Or higher than 6?
6 or
Okay.
higher.
It's a 50-50.
Yep.
Cool.
Better.
So everybody but me succeeded.
That works. All right. I'm probably going to stay open on the dice roll channel just so I can keep an eye on stuff. All right. I have one more roll for you guys to make. This is a little unconventional, but this is how things are going to go because of what's happening. Go ahead and roll one more d6. Or, sorry, one more d10.
Wow. 2 for 2.
Get them all out early.
Yeah. Alright, so it's like I failed, Paul failed.
Well, don't really see yourselves as failing yet. Has everybody rolled?
I think we're missing one. Yeah. Nope, everybody rolled.
Okay. The number that you have just taken, this number that you've just rolled, is how much damage you're starting with.
Oh,
Oh,
Yikes.
thank God I rolled low.
So, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
that's superficial damage, right?
It is superficial damage. It is superficial damage. Now, let's go ahead and get into this. The second
I'm impaired.
You're impaired. That's absolutely fine. I think we're all impaired in some way.
Oh, man.
The Second Convention of Prague was in 2021, gathering kindred from all over the world to settle the Cold War between the Anarchs and the Camarilla, ever since the Conclave of Prague, almost 10 years prior. The event was held at St. Giles Church, in the center of Prague by Prince Marcus. Unfortunately, as the festivities, we'll call them, continued to rise the emotions of the kindred in the city, they've started to find that things were not going the way that Prince Marcus had hoped. 10 years prior, Theo Bell murdered Hardestadt. 10 years prior, the majority of the Ventrue who participated didn't walk out. And the war between the Anarchs and the Camarilla had been raging ever since. You, Kindred, have found yourselves among the guests of this second convention. The date is September 9th, 2021. And the last thing that you remember is the explosion. There were screams, the scent of blood, and debris falling everywhere. Those of you who are harmed, which pretty much is all of you at this point, remember how horrible it was as the cathedral burst into flames and the stone workings and statues began falling on you. Who's conscious?
I am.
I think all of you are conscious, right? Just we have an impaired.
Yeah. Yeah. It's impaired once you fill out your health total with superficial.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I'm impaired as well.
Okay. You're able to move, just at a decelerated rate. You may need some help to get over some of the more significant hurdles. But everybody knew that there was a rallying point. The Camarilla was not completely unaware of the fact that the Anarchs might pull something. And it really does seem like they have done that. Unfortunately, once you get out into the street, there's barricades. There's tanks. It seems that the National Guard or possibly some military force has come into the area. All of you, however, are going to be able to make it back to Prague Castle. Underneath, Prince Marcus set up a haven and an emergency fallout shelter, just in case anything that happened, like it did 10 years ago, happened again. And that's where we're going to start this game. If you go into the area where there are, I'm trying to figure out where things are now.
Nightlife of Prague.
Nightlife of Prague. Thank you. If you go to Nightlife of Prague, you will find in the scene art, you can see what Prague Castle looks like. That's our Elysium. If you pull up the 4 messages under Elysium, you can see some internal pictures that were also provided. These are taken directly from Shark Mob's Bloodhunt. This game is going to be directly influenced by Bloodhunt, but it is not exactly the same. So we begin in the Elysium. As you come through the front doors, things don't seem 100% as they should, as there is guttural, bestial screaming happening off in one side towards the back catacombs. And the keeper of Elysium, Custos, is trying to herd people into specific directions to keep them out of way. Apparently, the Bruja sheriff, who's also the primogen of the clan, Kirill, is at a near incoherent frenzy towards the back of the room. How do you all handle that as you walk in, seeing that you are all the first ones to arrive?
Shit, I'm not going over there.
No
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
Paul is probably a little stoic and reminded of like falling back onto a past experience that is similar. And so he just walks in and hears what's going on and just turns and walks to the opposite end. He's
Okay.
gonna stay clear.
You're directed to a sitting area that has a ghoul standing by the front next to this it's not cartoonishly large, but it is a rather large red button that's built into the wall that controls a metal drop door, like a portcullis. Just in case Kirill decides to make his way over here.
Emil's going to just coming off of like an escape, barely escaping with his life. He is going to probably already had his heightened senses up, just trying to like ensure that he's not running into any ambushes. Just gonna try to like listen to hear if he can hear if Maya is over there, dealing with Kirill, or if she's perhaps somewhere else.
She is not in view. Also, she's a little intimidated by the way he is from time to time, and this would be no exception.
Okay. In that case, Emil is going to just go with the flow of things and not get in front of the crude and very frightening Bruja.
Anybody else, or are you just being ushered into the side room?
Mr. Prophet will be ushered.
Yeah, Mill will help anybody who looks like they're having a hard time getting around. He's familiar with some of these phases, so.
Well, currently in the Elysium itself, in this small little antechamber set off to the side, aside from this ghoul who seems to just be watching the door on edge, he's like a few times a loud noise will pop up and he'll jump and nearly push the button. But for the most part, it's just the four of you in this room. There are some that are coming in that are slightly more injured. Perhaps they're being carried in by servants at this point, which are being taken to a different area to avoid unnecessarily feeding on them.
Well, that was unexpected.
Yeah, it hurt quite a bit.
So I imagine Dr. Ford at this point is still kind of reeling from everything, and she starts beginning to realize that she doesn't know where her ghoul is. Oh no. She doesn't mention him.
There's a one of the ghouls who looks like he was possibly at the event. He's his clothes are in shambles, his hair's disheveled. He runs in unceremoniously, holding almost in a bear hug, just an armful of blood bags, which he's going to just unceremoniously dump on a table in the middle of the room.
Mm.
He's apologizing the entire time that he's so sorry that it's not better. They're not heated up. He understands that you all deserve better.
Paul will just sort of limp over, tell him thanks, and grab one. Assuming that they're for everyone.
There's 8 there. There's enough for all of you to take 2. They are still cold. They're a little sloshy.
Prophet will take 2.
All right,
Emil
two it is.
just turns his nose up at it.
How overtly does Emil turn his nose up at it?
Oh, it's evident, like enough to make the ghoul even notice.
Oh, Emil, if you don't want it, I will take them off your hands.
By all means, darling.
The
Have
Prophet has 4.
Can I get Emil to please roll his manipulation plus intimidation?
yeah. I am at 200. 2 successes.
2 successes. The ghoul who brought the blood in, when he sees your disgust, without even thinking about it, he wanders slightly closer to you and starts rolling up his sleeve.
That's more like it. And he'll take his wrist. And I will make a rouse check to mend.
Okay.
So I will go up to 3 hunger, but then I will slake 2 from the ghoul.
He visibly buckles as you let him go. And
Just pulling out a handkerchief, wiping the corners of his mouth, he'll just use the other hand and just pat the ghoul on the back. Off you go.
yeah, he without a word, he just makes his way. I can't even say walks. He just makes his way to the exit. That's around the time also that Koskos will beeline himself from his his makeshift desks of just piles of books, and wanders over into the area. Over in the NPC section, you can see the gentleman who's approaching. He's wearing a nice suit, gloves. He's an interesting figure. For those of you who are not used to Prague, who's not from Prague?
Paul is not.
Emil is not either.
Dr. Ford is absolutely not.
Okay, so all of you are tourists. Awesome. For the most part. All right. He walks over and he seems annoyed. As the ghoul makes his way out past him, he'll put his hand. He's wearing these fine black leather gloves, but he puts his hands on the ghoul's shoulder and whispers something to him as the ghoul makes his way out.
Can I hear what he says?
With your heightened
Heightened
senses,
senses. Yeah.
he tells the ghoul to to make his way to the other lounge and to lay down for a bit and possibly send one of the other servants to get him something to eat. So Cuscos is going to just saunter into the room. Every footsteps almost makes the other ghoul who's by the button just like jump up and hit the button.
So the portcullis is going up and down?
It's not that it's going up and down, it's the ghoul is so close to hitting that button.
Oh, okay.
That would make it go down.
He's just at the ready.
He is paranoid at this point. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
There's
Prophet's looking at him and kind of nodding like, yeah, push it.
there's a sound of like shattering brick and breaking stone from the other side. It's muffled and echoing through the big halls of the I guess it's just the underside of this castle that you're all huddled in at this point. There's a few more individuals who are starting to trickle in, who are being told by who you can assume are servants to go to various locations. As Cuscos walks in, how are you?
So Dr. Ford just kind of looks at him with like she's already bloodied from the explosion and from being injured. She's just kind of like, yeah.
Now he looks over and it's just a look of sympathy on his face.
Paul just kind of shrugs. Oh, could be better, I suppose. And he'll bite into one of those blood bags and start to mend.
As the cuts and scrapes on Emil's face like kind of seal up. Much better. Much better. At least as good as I can be in the situation that we seem to be in.
Yes, that's understandable.
Prophet just gives a thumbs up and is sucking on the blood bags, 2 of them.
Well, hopefully more will come. I'm glad that you were able to get out.
Is there a path of egress from here, away from all that nonsense?
Unfortunately, I think the nonsense might actually get worse before it gets better.
It often does.
Our dear sheriff has, by decree of Prince Marcus's absence and his Kirill has called for a bloodhunt
Emil's eyes get really big.
on the entire Anarch faction.
Well,
Even Paul raises an eyebrow at that.
does seem a bit counterproductive to our prince's desires for the meeting in the first place. But that was before they bombed everything.
Cuscos looks back towards where all the noise is coming from. I'm not 100% convinced that this was the Anarchs.
You think there was
Is
a
this
third party?
is this Vienna all over again?
I'm hoping that it's not as bad as Vienna. I'm hoping it's not as bad as London.
Oh, forgive me, G Keeper, if I'm stepping out of my over my lines, but is there any word on the whereabouts of Prince Marcus?
Prince Marcus was not seen leaving the church. We don't know if he got out.
So in the meantime,
So in the
we're
meantime, since you are all here, and at least seem to be on the mend, I think that we should work on possibly calming down Kirill.
And how do you suggest we do that?
I am
Unless you have something
using
particularly in mind, we might have a
excuse.
better chance. Apologies.
What were you saying?
If you have something specific in mind, unless you have something specific in mind, I think we would have a better chance of wrangling the river.
I do have an idea. Maya and myself. Are all of you familiar with who Maya is?
Neil just gives like a knowing nod.
Our
All
dear,
vaguely knows.
our dear Harpy and I. We we're working as hard as we can, using our gifts to try to keep him from fully losing himself to the beast. We think that a slight nudge might be able to help. When the four of you are feeling up to it, how would you all feel about going on an errand?
Yes, sir.
We'll need to get cleaned up a little before beforehand, but I suppose whatever we can do.
I suppose it was inevitable we would get conscripted into the common defense. So what would the
And
errand be?
Maya and I have been Maya and I have been working on a way of bringing Kirill into our good graces. Um,
Emil's eyes get like, ooh.
it's it's a trifle of a thing, but considering the fact that the whole city is under siege at the moment, this may be something that could calm him down. Are any of you aware of the layout of the city?
I would like to think myself familiar.
Are you aware of the
not so
antique
much.
shop that's east of the Memorial Park?
Not far from the disco, correct?
Yes, just north of the rooftop restaurants.
Yes, I believe I am familiar.
Maya and myself are aware that Prince Marcus was attempting to acquire something of a gift for Kirill. We think that possibly receiving something from the prince may very well calm him down. Unless anybody has any other ideas.
No ideas here.
No?
Preferable to going back to that church.
Yes.
Well, it is in the opposite direction of the church. That is a good thing.
And it's not particularly a secret. Kirill is a staunch loyalist to Prince Marcus. Perhaps a gift from him would give him not only some, or not only temper his frustration, but perhaps give him some hope to calm down.
We were. From what I understand, Marcus was going to present this to Kirill tomorrow night after the convention was over. As a congratulations for doing a superb job with the security. That might not need to be mentioned to Kirill.
No, I think not.
What do you think that the four of you may need to accomplish this?
Well, considering a mass blood hunt on the anarch movement and the potential threat of mortal government, something to defend ourselves would be ideal, as well as, if possible, transportation.
Listen, how big is this gift we have to transport?
It's not that big. It's a small statuette. My main concern with this whole situation is the fact that the local kindred don't exactly know who you are. They may see you and think you anarchs.
So we might need a ghoul, one that is recognized, or some other sign which we can share.
Kuskos looks over to the ghoul who's by the button. Who just has this automatic sinking, I don't want to go out there look on his face.
So Dr. Ford walks, or as best she can, she'll walk over to the ghoul. Do you really think that portcullis will hold? It might be safer away from here.
I'm inclined to agree with the dear doctor.
Besides, I'll need someone to help me walk.
He just, in defeat, just nods and stares down at the ground. I think that you all should be, at least as far as you can be, in better physical shape before you actually go out there. What all provisions do you think you need before we have you venture out?
Some more of this blood would be nice. And he's finishing off the second bag that he picked up. I'd imagine he has some broken bones that are like slowly starting to mend.
Cuscos will quickly walk back over to his little seating area and then come back with a folded map of Prague and push it out onto the table itself. All right. Well, you all. Let's see. We're going to be sending you here, and he points out the location of the antique shop. Just a couple of blocks away is also this area, and he'll, on a pen, he'll mark an X. And he shows you that it's not the closest in the world, but just a little southwest of the antique store he's sending you to is a place where you possibly could refresh yourselves. I'd like to offer you more here, but we don't have much, and we have more Kindred coming.
All right, yeah. He kind of looks towards the others to see, kind of take their lead on how they think of that plan.
There's always the possibility of delay. Is there any other places to safe haven in the event that we're not able to return by sunrise?
Well, let's see. Further south of the clinic. Also, if you could possibly bring back blood, that would be much appreciated. But further south, over off in the courtyards, and he'll pronounce it. I cannot. It's Tarom Tesky Namsky. There is a building on the second floor of these apartment complexes, and he points out where that is. You most likely can find haven there. So you're looking at just a few square miles.
Okay.
And are we to traverse the city on foot, or will we be provided transportation?
I'm not sure you'll be able to get transportation through anything at the moment.
Right.
Paul and Emil, do you need weaponry?
Yes. The ghoul is good for notifying the local Camarilla of our allegiances, but
Not the anarchs.
not the anarchs. So something to defend ourselves would be, I think, a necessity.
I have small arms at the moment. That actually would be nice for if anybody has any way of getting anything else here. Where Prince Marcus was pretty sure that something like this was going to happen. He wanted to be prepared. So there are small stashes of weapons around the city. That antique store that we're sending you to, you may very well find one of the stashes there. There's another one just south of the Haven that I'm pretty sure you'll be able to stay at. As for here, I can only give you a few small weapons before you go.
Something is better than nothing.
He's, Kuskos is going to nod, turn and walk away, and he'll be back in a few moments with the weapons. He's allowing you to speak with yourselves for the time being.
So, Dr. Ford will now that he's left, attempt to rouse the blood to heal some of her wounds. Okay. So that's one superficial down. I am no longer impaired.
Good. Like to start with my Tremere damaged.
Thank you.
Yeah.
May I have another? No.
It's funny that you say that. No, okay.
So in terms of mending, is this all counting as like one scene? Is there like a limit to how many times we can rouse?
No, as long as you have blood in your system.
Okay, cool.
And am I right, when you rouse to heal, you can heal up to your stamina in superficial?
No, you mend your mend amount determined by your blood potency, which I believe is everybody's at a 1.
Yes.
So your mend amount is 1 superficial damage per rouse check. While everyone is tending to themselves, Emil's going to find the best substitute for a mirror or reflective surface, and try to like wipe off any of like the debris and dust and grime.
In the corner of the room is a small glass case that has some collectibles within it. It's like this is an area of the castle that they pretty much use for storage. Due to the lighting in here, the glass case does have a slight reflective surface on it, so you can probably use that.
He'll just saunter over to that and begin trying to like wipe the grime and smudges from his face and from the part of his chest that's visible, dust off his clothes the best he can, and then when he's done, he'll just try to like dust off his gloves, make sure that he's at least somewhat presentable.
Seeing that, Paul will sort of like, you can kind of see like the idea struck him to maybe try and right himself a little bit. And so once he's done, mending maybe the crook in his arm that was broken is sort of straightening out, he'll walk over beside Emil and ask like, "Hey, do you mind helping me out a little bit as well?" And he'll indicate the mirror, which you'll see that his reflection is not helpful in fixing his image.
He gives you this like very intrigued wry smile. Of course, darling. And he'll very gently begin to like, he's very much in your personal space. Just begin to like wipe the smudges from your cheeks and from your forehead and do whatever you need to make you look presentable by his standards.
He'll just kind of stand there, unflinching, doesn't really seem to mind the personal space invasion. And once he's done, he'll just say, "Thanks."
Of course, anytime. Having had Paul come up to him, Emil will kind of turn. Would anybody else like a touch-up?
Dr. Ford does volunteer herself, and I think she has a purse where she can actually pull out a small little makeup case too, in case that is of any assistance.
Probably a better mirror, even though it's smaller.
Much smaller.
Emil will take you up on that. He'll Emil will come over, and if you have like a little like powder thing, you just kind of like powder his face a little bit, make sure his complexion's back on point.
After a few minutes with you all setting yourself up to look pretty, Kostos is going to come back in with another ghoul behind him with this plastic milk crate just overflowing with items. The ghoul will just set it down on the table and remain silent, stand behind Koskos. I'm very sorry, but this is all we have as far as weapons go. Inside the crate, you're going to find a crowbar, a 22 pistol, a 9mm pistol, and a shotgun. This is all we have to get started. We do need to build up our armory.
Well,
Paul will sort of wait for the others to make their opinions known. He doesn't seem to really have a preference for a weapon or not.
Emil will take a very like analytical scan over everything.
Nothing's pretty. It's just all basic stuff.
Right. And when it comes to weapons, I think Emil is more function over fashion, so he's going to grab the 9mm. Check it, make sure it's loaded.
It's loaded. It also adds. It'll add 9 or 9. Hell no. It'll add +3 to your damage value. Just letting you know.
Okay.
So Dr. Ford leans over to the ghoul that she's kind of acquired and says, "Oh, get me the 22."
Okay. The ghoul, who is over by the button, nervously steps up, looks at all the kindred in the room, and reaches for the much smaller 22, and then hands it over to Dr. Ford. That will
So I'll
add a
take the ghoul.
+2 to your damage value.
I'll hold on to the ghoul's hand, and she says, "We should stick together."
Nervously, he looks back to Koskos, who just kind of like gives him a fatherly nod.
Paul will look over at. 1 second. Does he go by Melbourne or Prophet?
Profit. Yeah.
Okay, he'll look over at Prophet and kind of see that he hasn't chosen, and he'll reach in and grab the crowbar and be like, "Oh, do you mind if I take this?"
Oh, you should take that. Yes.
Okay.
Crowbar
I
gives you a
plan on-
+2 to your damage value.
All
I
right.
plan on remaining unseen.
Oh, oops.
So does the shotgun just stay there?
Is it like a? Are we talking like a double barrel, like a 20
Just a
gauge?
pump action shotgun.
If nobody will take it, Emil will pick it up. We'll need all we can get if we run into some form of opposition.
That is also a +3. All right. Well, I'm very sorry that I can't offer you more.
Emil, how about I would be better with the 9mm.
Sorry, did Prophet say that?
Yes.
Very well. And he'll take the 9mm and hand it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Shotguns are a bit loud for my liking, but beggars can't be choosers.
Now, as I was saying, we think that this statue might be able to knock Kirill out of his current tantrum. But if you are able to come back with blood and weapons, that may be very helpful in our situation as well.
All right. So main order is get the statue and get back, but anything else is a bonus.
Yes.
Well, I think we shouldn't dally.
Yes, I think I'm about ready. He seems to flex his hand that's now working properly.
Kirill will walk you to the exit. Kirill? Sorry. Kuskos will walk you to the exit.
Kirill will throw us through the wall.
Let's just hope that's my only mistake. Anyway. But yes, he will walk you to the exit. The area you're going to is actually pretty far north and to the east. You are all at the church which houses the Prague astronomical clock. Underneath that. So you actually are going to have to pass the church to get to where you're going.
The church that's currently burning?
The church that is currently burning.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
Yes.
All right, so do
It
we want to
is
go
the
north?
just to give you information on it, it is the, let's see, the Saint Giles Church, which is also known as Church of Our Lady Before Tyne. So, is there anything that anyone needs to do before they leave? Do they feel up to it physically? Do you need... We can't really spare that much more blood, but...
I think I'm in about as good of a shape as I can expect.
All right. Well then, good luck to you.
Thank you, Christos.
On the way out, Prophet will hand the 4 empty blood bags to one of the ghouls and just say, "I assume you recycle."
They'll
Mm.
the ghoul who carried everything in will collect the empty blood bags in the milk crate that he had all the weapons in.
Paul was kind of awkwardly looking for a trash can
Okay.
until he saw that, and then he'll walk over and like, oh, thank you, and then he'll drop those in the bag too.
All right.
I guess I'd say this in character. Considering none of us, I think, fancy the idea of passing back by the hell that is the church, we should make around the edge of the city up into our destination.
Possibly a good idea. All right. So are we ready to get
Seems
back?
such most distance.
Are we ready to get back in?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. First, I'm going to introduce Benny. On your way out of the doors of the castle, which is going to be a set of, like, pretty well hidden. Like, it's not like disguised or anything, but there's a lot of stuff in the alley to obscure it. The door that he's leading you off out into is just kind of an area where the local people just dump off all their crap. So there's just busted furniture, trash bags, things like that, just piled up along the side. Where most Kindred might be a little annoyed by this, considering the situation, this is helping to keep you guys safe at the moment. On your way out, though, Kuskos is going to bring another individual over to help you. Gentlemen, or Kindred, I apologize, Dr. Ford.
Thank you.
I feel most awful not being able to supply you with an arsenal for this task. This may make up for it. May I introduce to you Benjamin? And he he gestures towards the man who's standing near him.
Hello, everyone.
Emil's eyes light up. Benny, dear, it's so good to see you.
Oh, good, you know each other.
I'm glad to see that you've made it out safe.
Well, we've made acquaintances. Thank you for introducing.
Now, if I do have other things to make right, hopefully, with everything that's happening, could you possibly inform Benjamin on the current situation and plan?
I would be happy to.
And he's gonna he's going to, as politely as he can, run as fast as he can towards the sound of all of the noise and the breaking things towards the back of the room.
Well, it seems like I missed something.
Yes, the sheriff Kirill is having we'll call it a moment. As he says a moment, you just hear something crash into a wall.
Is this one of your parties?
No, unfortunately not. With the chaos that's happening, Kustos thinks that he has a method of calming our sheriff down to a state of level head. Well, I guess the long and short of it is, the Kirill in his fugue has called for a blood hunt on all of the anarchs, and we are going to navigate through the city to obtain a statuette that might calm him down, a gift from the prince, and if possible, obtain weapons and blood supply. And if for whatever reason we have to, he's given us a location, and he'll gesture to the map that we all have, where we can lay our heads should we not make it back before sunup.
Sounds like an easy enough thing to do, right?
I forgot to
I
mention
hope
we have
so.
to travel through the city on foot and pass by the current burning church, where there are national forces, military forces, blockading many of the streets. So we will be walking on foot.
So what you're saying is this is going to be a cakewalk. Oh, Lord. I don't think I came prepared for this.
Don't worry. He kind of pats your face. I won't let anything touch you. and Emil is just going to kind of stride in the direction that Kustos was sending us to exit.
Prophet walks up. Benny, Benny, Benny. If this is a cakewalk, baby, I've got the icing. Pulls out the 9mm.
Oh, God.
Paul
you,
just.
I procured it.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not going to ask how you got that.
It's yours.
Sweet. I will gladly take that.
Springs are a little rusty. Serial number is only partially scratched off, but it is functional as per my assessment.
Benny will take it and, of course, hold it to the side like a 1980s gang movie.
Awesome.
Emil kind of like gets that "oh no, that won't do" kind of look on his face. Perhaps perhaps a pump action is more your speed. He'll offer you a 12 gauge pump shotgun if you would prefer it.
I'll take it. Rack it. Let's do this.
And I'll take the 9mm.
Paul is just walking with his little crowbar in hand, like a little cane, happy as can be.
All right.
This is what we're doing. This is how this is going to go.
All right. So, stepping outside of the castle into the trash-filled alley. This miniature garbage dump that you're coming out from underneath Prague Castle is just... It's disturbing with how the city, as beautiful it is, has parts in it like this, but you also know that there are darker areas. The sounds that you're hearing are jarring, no matter how cool you try to play it. There is gunfire in the background, there's screaming. There's even a mechanical voice that is telling people to return to their homes, that a curfew has been enacted. And until things start to calm down, everyone is to stay within their homes. There's another thing. And at this point, I would like you all to roll a wits plus awareness.